pick our Week 9 games. Starting off at the top, Sunday, Miami at Kansas City.
Woo! Casey, we both talked about this. Miami just does not find a way to step up the competition. I think everyone has figured out what to do with that Miami offense. Play to high safety, keep everything in front of them. Kansas City.
Yeah, taking Kansas City as well. No doubt Miami hasn't been able to play up against good competition this year. Now, Kansas City's lack of offense could very well have Miami come in and steal this game, and we know we're still trying to, they know that they're trying to still get adjusted with Jalen Ramsey, needing some secondary players. That was a team that I wanted to make a move at the trade deadline for a secondary player because I believe a Buda Baker could have been grabbed. I believe the Harrison Smith could have been grabbed. There were other secondary players out there that possibly could have been made a move for. But Kansas City's defense as well with Steve Spagnuolo. I mean, that Spags defense is very impressive, and I think Tua is going to experience something else against this team in Germany on Sunday. Very early on, so I will take the Chiefs in this game. We have the Vikings with the fresh Joshua Dobbs off the trade deadline move at the Atlanta Falcons.
Ooh,
This was a
we
tough one. I thought about this one for about 5 minutes before I actually made my pick.
This is tough. Just because Dobbs is no fresh into this system, I'm gonna have to go with Atlanta at home. I'm gonna go with Atlanta at home. Like at some point, Arthur Smith has to realize Bijan Robinson is a real deal. Just give him football and get out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, good. No, you're not a good pick. Not a bad pick there. Excuse me. I was jumbling on my words. So you got Minnesota, like I said, with Josh Dobbs traveling to Atlanta, first game on the road, not in a hostile environment, but nonetheless, they don't have home field advantage. But the one thing or a couple things that I was looking at is Drake London's out. Drake London's not
Oh
playing in this football game. I
yeah,
looked on the injury report. He is ruled out. They also
no,
have a
he isn't.
fullback and a safety that's ruled out of this game as well.
I'm
This
gonna
one could
join you.
really go either way. And here's how I'm thinking about it. The Vikings just played a solid game before Kirk Cousins got hurt. And all that firepower is still there. Madison's playing well. The interior O line's trying to get better. The O line itself is trying to get better. Jordan Addison is emerging. Justin Jefferson's working back off IR. So there's a lot of great things going, and I believe Josh Dobbs could step in against this Falcons defense that did just get carved up last week by a rookie in his debut. Now, yes, they were on the road, it's very tough to make a pick in this game, but with Drake London, the fullback, and the safety being out, I'm going to take the Vikings in this one. Now we have the Cardinals at the Cleveland Browns.
Browns. Like you're at the Browns, and this is arguably one of the three best defenses in the entire football league. And I already talked about Miles Garrett being the defensive player of the year. I'm going to take the Browns.
Heard that. This one will be interesting. Kyler Murray is actually questionable, along with many other people in this game. Deshaun Watson is a go. I'm going to take the Browns here as well. If Kyler starts, that could possibly switch some things up, but even Kyler coming back after the ACL injury, non contact in December of last year, could be a little tricky with that debut in the season. We also see Clayton Tune is up right now, the quarterback that they just drafted this year. So I don't expect them just shipping Josh Dobbs out. Now they're getting the rookie into place, or if it's going to be Kyler Murray, I think the Browns are going to be pretty solid being home in this one. Now, it could be an ugly one because we've seen the Browns kind of fall on their face this season, and they're just now getting Deshaun Watson back. And because he's a go, that's why I will pick the Cleveland Browns. Now we've got the Rams at your boys, the Green Bay Packers.
Um, Matthew Stafford hasn't practiced this week, so
Right, he's questionable.
I have to believe he's not going to play. So I'm going to lean to the Packers for that reason. And here is the one hot take that you're probably waiting for. If the Packers cannot beat a Matthew Stafford-less LA Rams, Matt LaFleur should be fired on the spot. Like the same thing that they did with Mike McCarthy when he lost to the Cardinals and he was fired like right after the press conference. If you can't beat the Matthew Stafford-less Rams, I honestly believe, and because of I've seen regression on all these young players from Jordan Love, Christian Watson is getting worse and worse by the day. Romeo Dobbs is not getting better. And the only young player that's looking better is Jalen Reed. I am going to tell you a loss should see Matt LaFleur out the door.
Mm, that's a tough one there. You look at the injury report: Jair Alexander, Rudy Ford, Elton Jenkins, Aaron Jones, Luke Musgrave, Quay Walker. Rudy Ford and Quay Walker are questionable. Jair Alexander was limited at practice. Aaron Jones was limited as well. But you look at the Rams, I mean, they've got, Ernest Jones, Puka Nakua, Matthew Stafford, Ben Skoranek, Aaron Donald. A lot of these guys that are on the injury report as well. I think AD is getting some veteran rest, so that's no worries. But you got guys like Matt Stafford and Puka on here. I'm going to take the Packers. This might be one of the ugliest games of the weekend just because it is filled with injuries, but I think this is lined up for the Packers to win. And they are at home. Washington, who just cleaned house, going to New England. Who you got?
New England. And
New
I'm
England.
not because I'm not because I am so assured by what's going on with the Patriots. It's just that, as you said, Washington's clearing house, and I think everything is set up for them tanking to get Caleb Williams.
That'd be nuts. Caleb Williams with Eric Bieniemy. Ironically, I'm going to take Washington over New England in this one. Now, Bill Belichick being at home could very well stifle Sam Howell and Eric Bieniemy, and we do just see two of their best players in Montez Sweat and Chase Young get out of there. But there's 10 listed as questionable for the Patriots on Sunday. A couple of key players are in there, and the bad thing is they already don't have a lot of key players in general. So even though Washington just cleaned it out, I'm going to take Washington in this game. I honestly don't feel comfortable as I pick it because I know they're on the road at New England, but the Patriots are just not what they were. We have the Bears at my Saints.
Let's go to the next one. Like Bears on the road.
I like you.
Yeah,
I
next
like
one.
you. Sounds like we're both going to take the Saints. No question about that. Seattle at Baltimore.
Woohoo! No, that's a game.
This going to be a good
And
game.
that is going to be a good game. But give me Baltimore. Like I trust what's going on in Baltimore. I love John Harbaugh, and I think like you're seeing finally the development of Baltimore's passing attack. Give me Baltimore in a one-score game, like in a close one.
Yeah, I think this will be a very good game as well. I'm going to take the Ravens as well. Now, Marcus Williams and Rock Yassin are both questionable guys in their secondary. We know Seattle can air it out. JSN, DK Metcalf, of course, Tyler Lockett as well. And overall, with them being first in the NFC West, they've earned this spot. They've earned the right to be discussed in this way against a top two team, a top three team in my power rankings, as the Baltimore Ravens are. Seattle can play, like I just said, so I think it's going to be a good football game. But with those two secondary players questionable, the Ravens will be tested. Still going to lean Baltimore here. Now we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Houston Texans.
Oh no, this is also a tough game. I'm going to take Tampa Bay simply because like that defense is still good, especially that front seven, and you're playing a rookie quarterback. Um, this game will show me how good CJ Stroud really is, especially as I said against that front seven. Give
Yeah,
me Tampa Bay in a close one because I still like what D'Amico Rance has done in Houston.
right.
Tampa Bay by one score.
Right, and I think it'll be Tampa Bay by one score as well. Because of Baker being at quarterback, and like you said, with D'Amico being able to throw some of those looks at Baker Mayfield and the Bucks, I think will be solid. But Damian Pierce and Robert Woods are also not playing in this game as well. Two big targets and weapons for C.J. Stroud, so he's not going to have some of that continuity to lean on. So I will take the Bucks here. Colts and Panthers. Colts at Panthers, actually.
Who's quarterback for Indianapolis in that game?
Gardner Minshew, pretty
Uh,
sure.
I'll take the Colts.
Yeah, I'll take the Colts too. Panthers are struggling this year. Now, the Panthers could win this game. I'm not really feeling the Frank Reich move so far. I really, really like Shane Steichen, and overall, knowing that this Colts team is top 10 offensively in plenty of categories, and the Panthers still do have some room to grow, and they need to grow. I'm going to take the Colts over the Panthers. Now, we've got Raiders at Giants.
Oh my
Or, excuse me,
God! Like,
Giants at Raiders, excuse me.
it doesn't like.
Say again?
I don't know like one bad franchise or the other. Like which one are we going here? I
I
think
will tell you, Tyrod Taylor and Darren Waller are out for the Giants.
well then give me and then give me the Raiders. I think that they're gonna have that happy-go-lucky feeling with the new head coach,
Yeah.
and they're like the players are going to want to play. And I have absolutely no faith in what is going on in New York Giants. I want to say this right, and people laughed at me when I said this. I honestly believe last season was a huge error for what the Giants did because they overachieved and believed in that overachievement, which led to paying Daniel Jones. And they said that is a huge mistake that they should have moved on. I know it's like, oh, but what do we do? It's like, don't pay Daniel Jones. Like
Yeah,
this
whatever you do, don't pay him.
don't pay him. I know like the problem with the NFL and like NBA, the NBA has this thing like either you're going to be really good or we're going to tank to be really bad. But NBA franchises don't believe in being mediocre. For whatever reason, NFL franchises think like they'd rather be mediocre than really bad. And now what's that led? You're paying money to be really bad. And the New York Giants are really, really bad. And they don't know why anyone would have thought giving Daniel Jones this money was the answer to your problems, especially when you brought in this head coach who did everything possible to hide Daniel Jones. Like, you saw him hide him, like, legit hide him. This kid had, what, 15 touchdown passes, and we thought that Daniel Jones is the answer? Like, hell, France, no.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It was way more Brian Dable than it was Daniel Jones, and I was right there with you. I was like, Daniel Jones wants what type of money? And he went from Danny Dimes to Danny Dollars real quick because New York took the bait. I'll take the Raiders over the Giants, though. I think Antonio Pierce is going to win his first game. New energy, new quarterback, new culture from this point on in the season. Tyrod Taylor and Darren Waller are out, and the Giants are a whopping 2-6 this year. Very, very disappointing football team. Philly and Dallas. Dallas actually going to Philadelphia in an NFC East matchup, and some people are saying the winner of this game will win the division.
I would have said, right, if that game was playing with Dallas, I would have leaned towards the Cowboys upset. But you're playing in Philly, and like Philly is ready for you. Like, I know both teams are. The reality of the situation, as much as I love Dallas's defense, Philadelphia is a better constructed roster as it is
Right,
right
they're
now.
more sound.
So give me Philadelphia, but it will be a good game.
I think it'll be a great game. Might be the game of the week. I like Hurts over Dak. I like Sirianni over McCarthy. I just like how built the Eagles are in general, too, compared to the Cowboys. And this is two of the most loaded rosters in the NFC. Definitely two of the most loaded rosters in the NFL, and two of the best teams in the league as well, facing off against each other. But I think when we talk about continuity, what each team has showed us recently, and ultimately what we know that both of these teams are able to do, I think Philly will emerge victorious in this one, and they are at home, so that is going to help them. Now we have the Bills and the Bengals. Buffalo going to Cincinnati.
Like Cincinnati, I've told you, I no longer trust Buffalo
I don't either.
with those two defensive injuries, Tre'Davious White and Matt Milano, and
Yep.
I've never been. If you think I don't like Brandon Staley, I also don't like Sean McDermott. I'm just not a
Yeah.
fan. Like, give me Cincinnati. Like, you're seeing it turn around. No, Joe seems to be healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Yeah. Same here. Bengals seemed like they turned the corner in the last game. Joe Burrow, 28 of 32, dicing up the San Francisco 49ers defense, and he's healthy. He's making plays, making scrambles and moves that he wasn't making earlier on. Excuse me. In the year, Josh Allen and Damar Hamlin are thankfully in for this game. They were both practicing this week. I think they were both questionable earlier in the week, but they ended up getting the game time, or not the game time, but they ended up getting the designation to be in for this game, thankfully. So that was going to be huge. If Josh Allen was out possibly or hampered in this game, which I think he still could be a little injured coming into this one, it isn't going to fare super well. AJ Klein, the linebacker, is out in this game, so I do like the Bengals here. Chargers at Jets to round out the schedule.
This is going to sound weird. I'm going to go to Jets. Uh,
Ooh, the
yep.
Jets are at home.
The
That's
Jets are at
good.
home, and I told you already, like, I do not trust Brandon Staley. Like, you're traveling on the road, and make no mistake, right? As much as I love Justin Herbert, this is an elite defense. I
Yeah,
think they're going to make enough plays to win this. I can understand why you would go to Chargers, but especially in close games where coaching decisions matter, am I going to trust Brandon Staley over Robert Saleh? Hell no. Hell no. Yes, Zach Wilson is not it, but that defense at home, I have seen the New York Jets, they pull out a game in New York against the Giants and they had no reason winning. But when you saw them against the Chiefs and they thought that Chiefs game was a turnaround, yes, they lost that game, right? But finally, the one moment came that he wanted to see all along. Zach Wilson with accountability. Not only did he play well in the fourth quarter of that game, but after the game, Zach Wilson owned up to the fact they lost the game because of him. And he saw the players rally around him and say, tough luck, tough luck. It wasn't you. And he said, no, this loss is on me. And we saw last year. What did we see last year? He said, he would say that, no, it's not on me. It's not my fault, blah, blah, blah. The accountability. And ever since then, I've seen his team rally around him. His play has not been great by any stretch of the imagination.
you're
But
convincing me
when
over here.
but when you see like that Chiefs game for me was a turnaround.
Yeah,
And if the Chargers had anyone else under that headset not named Brandon Staley would take it, but
Seems like you don't like Brandon Staley as much as I don't like Dennis Allen. We like
like
Dennis Allen so much. I am counting down the days until we let him go. I'm going to take the Chargers over the Jets, though. You make a lot of great points, and this would be a game for Brandon Staley to lose. It is in New York. It is on prime time. It is going to be on national television. I do believe overall, might not be by much, that the Chargers are the better football team here.
oh, there's
But
no
if the
doubt.
Jets win, I'm not shocked. The Jets do have an elite defense. The Jets have shown that they're going to be gritty. 4-3 at this point in the season without their QB1 and Aaron Rodgers. I didn't know if they were going to be at this point. I knew it was going to be a rough season going on, but we've seen that defense show up, show out, win them football games. But I am going to take the Chargers over the Jets.